Hey, howdy, hey, and welcome to another episode of Disney Assembled. I'm Troy,
And I'm Mimi.
and we are your happy little father daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to join them, check out patreon.com/DisneyAssembled.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate your consideration for that. Membership starts at only $2 a month, and with that, you get access to all the exclusive patron content and all the other content. Some of it's exclusive, some of it not so exclusive, but we do share some stuff there just for the patrons. It starts at only $2 a month. And again, I've been sticking with it. I've been posting something Monday through Friday pretty consistently. I think I've gotten something every day, Monday through Friday, since we returned from Disneyland. And we're recording this episode on Friday, September 26th, 2025. So, Mimi, how are you doing? What's going on?
I'm doing okay. My birthday was on Wednesday, so I turned 20, which is why we're recording this a little bit late. So yeah, I've just been doing a lot of work. Honestly, I didn't get to celebrate my birthday on my birthday, so that's coming today. Been working a whole lot, lots of school stuff going on. I finished my first interview for my first story of the semester for the Daily Texan, so that's super fun. I liked my hair in the ponytail better. Just kidding. I've just been like working really hard on school and stuff. I've been busy. This week was Big Little Week for my sorority, so we've been doing like it's been like heavy Big Little stuff. So I've been doing like all the baskets and focusing on that and all that stuff. So
Good. Sounds very cool. And in the last episode, we mentioned that this was the first episode ever of Disney Assembled in which you are no longer a teenager. Congratulations. You old. And
crazy.
that makes me real old. So
I feel
there we
old,
go.
like in comparison to how, like, I guess this is kind of stupid, but I feel old in comparison to how young I used to be, if that makes sense
Of course.
at all. Like, I don't feel old because I'm only 20, but like,
Of course. Yeah, I was kidding.
you know, yeah. But I know it's kind of an obvious thing, but I feel 17 still feels like pretty young, 18 still feels pretty young, but like 20 feels like a pretty significant marker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congratulations. We started the show. You were 14.
14.
So congratulations. Keep going. Very excited for you. Lots of stuff coming up. I know after the new year, we announced about your Disney College program acceptance. I know that's something you're looking forward to. So getting all
I can talk
growed
about
up.
that actually. Wait. So Disney programs actually we have student ambassadors from UT that do program stuff throughout the year, like recruiting. And so they came and had a recruitment event. And I went. I figured it was going to be stuff I already knew, but I went anyway just in case. And it ended up being like basically the same as the online info session, but I got some swag. So I got this like fun pen that says college programs, discover the magic. It's shaped like Mickey. And then I got this little bracelet wristband thing that's like Disney College Program, Discover the Magic. And I got this like luggage tag that says Disney College Program. I can like write my name on it on the back. So yeah, I just picked up some swag, talked to two DCP alumni from UT. One of them's a senior at UT, one of them's a junior. So she did it in spring of her sophomore year, the same as I am. So that was kind of cool. And like they have office hours coming up. So yeah, that's all that's going on in Disney College Program land as of right now.
Fantastic. I know you're excited for it. I'm excited for you to get there. And I know that there may be periodic sort of updates from you. I don't know. We haven't quite worked out exactly what you can do, what you can't do while you're there. I want to make sure you follow the rules. But certainly we'll adjust the podcast as necessary so that you can get the full Disney College Program experience without, running into any trouble. You don't want to end up on the trouble list. So it's all good. Well, we have an interesting topic this week because the topic is lava. Right? The takes are lava. We're going to talk about some Disney hot takes. We have a list of them. We may not get through all of them because this may spark quite some conversation. I know we like to keep the show within a certain time limit. So if we don't get through all of them, we certainly have enough to potentially do a part two, right? Because I know there's some hot takes that are not on our list that we should probably have added to our list. So we have that. Of course, we'll have the answer to the last episode's trivia question, the new trivia question at the end of this episode, and of course, the ever present Disney dad joke of the week. So, Mimi, are you ready to jump into things with the answer to last episode's trivia question?
Yes, I am. So last week's trivia question was created. We created it because we didn't have a card handy. And the question, I'm not quite sure exactly how we phrased it, but the question was which attraction was in the same space that Mission Space is now in? Like, what did Mission Space replace? I guess. And the answer is Horizons. And I know Andrew got this one correct because he texted me about it. So congratulations, Andrew. I never rode Horizons. I've never ridden Mission Space. I don't know anything about Horizons. All I know is that that's what was there. I thought it was Ellen's Energy Adventure, but I was wrong. Guardians is where Ellen's Energy Adventure was. So
that's right. The universe of energy. Yeah, that's where that is now. So if you got Horizons correct, congratulations. You are part of the smartest people we know club. So congratulations to you. All right. We have a new trivia question at the end of this episode. But before we talk about the hot topics, like the hot takes, we do have to have this week's Disney dad joke of the week. So, Mimi, are you ready for this week's Disney dad joke of the week?
yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, it is time once again for this week's Disney dad joke of the week. Mimi, we have eaten Be Our Guest in Beast's ballroom, right? We've eaten there. So it's a great experience. But did you know originally the dining room for the Be Our Guest meal was supposed to be in the Beast's library, the one that he gave to Belle? It was supposed to be in the library. But Imagineers quickly discovered that it would be impossible for any of the guests to make reservations. Do you know why?
Mm-mm.
Because it would be constantly booked up.
That's pretty good. I like that
So
one.
there you
Did you
go.
come up with that one by yourself?
Kind of. It's a
Kind of. It's like,
variation on a different joke, but that is this episode, I
pretty
should
good.
say, is Disney Dad Joke of the Week. If you have a dad joke in a Disney variety that is family friendly and you'd like us to consider using on the show, send it to us at the email address I'm pointing to if you're watching the video, disneyassembled@gmail.com. All right. Switching gears.
The takes
There
are
are takes. There are cold takes and there are hot takes.
Yeah. This topic
These takes are
definitely comes
lava.
from that video that we put on TikTok. So a few episodes ago, we talked about we were comparing Disneyland versus Disney World's attractions, and I was talking about how I didn't feel like Pirates, like the storytelling was as tight in Disneyland, and how I didn't feel like the Jack Sparrow storyline was as strong and all that stuff. And you put that clip on TikTok and people were not happy about it. They were like, well, Jack Sparrow's in it. Like, no. Like, have you ever ridden it? Like, what do you know? And I was like, no, we were just there. And even if he was in all the scenes, he wasn't noticeable enough, which is, that is part of the experience, An
Yes,
absence of something or an absence of noticing something is just as much the same of the experience as it actually being there. And so I guess I got us thinking on like what our other sort of hot takes were. I didn't think that was a hot take. I don't know. But yeah, so you actually are leading this episode, not me. But you came up with a list of Disney hot takes. And I think I have one that isn't in here that I would like to talk about. And we'll
see if we get through. We'll see if we get through all of them. I apologize if you're listening to the show. If there's a buzzing or a ringing, my texts are blowing up, and I've tried to silence the phone, but I want to make sure that I apologize because it's going crazy. Disney hot takes. Okay, stop. The phone keeps going
Just move
crazy.
the phone.
It's technology, and I'm over 50, so I'm challenged here. So Disney hot takes. We have some hot takes. If you thought, and of course, I want to respond to what you just said. The TikTok response was insane. Like people were all over the map on that. And that's good because we like the engagement. And people chimed in with their 2 cents, their 3 cents, their 5 cents, their 10 cents, and it made a lot of sense. So we decided to take a list of Disney hot takes and go from there. And if you thought the hot take on what you thought about Jack Sparrow was a hot take, I'm about to lay down the hottest take when it comes to Jack Sparrow and Disney Pirates. Are you ready for the first hot take that we're going to discuss? I have it right here on my
Yes.
notes, right here. Here's the hot take. Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, he is not the best pirate in the Disney universe. Do you know the best pirate in the Disney universe is actually Tim Curry's version of Long John Silver from the Muppets Treasure Island. Tim Curry, Long John Silver, Muppets Treasure Island is the best pirate in the Disney universe. That is the first hot take. Mimi, agree, disagree, go.
Where does that take even come from? Like, where do you even, like, did you recently rewatch Muppets Treasure Island and you're like, this is fire? Like, where does that even come from?
I did not recently watch, but I have watched when I was a child, when I was younger. I watched the Muppet movies.
Okay.
Muppet Treasure Island, second only, in my mind, second only to Muppet Christmas Carol, which is the best Muppets movie of all time.
Okay,
I
that's
think
wrong.
Muppet.
The best Muppet movie of all time is the one with Constantine.
No. That's a different hot take for a different discussion. Muppet Treasure Island could be the second greatest Muppet movie of all time. Tim Curry, you may know him from the Clue movie as the butler. You may know him from Rocky Horror Picture Show, Dr. Frankenfurter. You may know him.
Okay. You should have started with
from
that.
roles in The Hunt for Red October. He was a prolific actor. Has had some really, I don't know if he's still with us, but he had a ton of really bad health issues. And if he's still with us, they're really bad. But his version of Long John Silver, even Tim Curry himself, who has acted in multiple things throughout a career, a award-winning career, has said his favorite role ever was Long John Silver in the Muppets Treasure Island film. And I'm going to turn my light down because it is blinding me in my face. So the take is lava. Have I convinced you?
The take is lava. No, you haven't convinced me, not at all. When I didn't know who Tim Curry was, I think that's your sign that your take is wrong. You needed to start with Rocky Horror, and then it would have clicked for me. But the best Disney pirate is obviously Jake. So, not sure
from
what
the
that's
Neverland
about.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Right now you're just drinking too many Red Bulls because
No, the best Disney pirate is probably Captain Hook. Or honestly, I do really like Jack Sparrow. Okay, I'm not going to discount Jack Sparrow. Okay, he's up there. My favorite Disney pirate is honestly Captain Barbossa. I think Barbossa is such a silly character.
I think we just discovered a whole new topic that we're going to have to talk about at a different point,
Disney
which
pirates.
is ranking the Disney pirates. But hot take number one,
and then
and
secondly,
the listeners can decide.
Movies.
The listeners and the viewers on the TikToks or whatever socials that are watching this, could be the reels, could be on the shorts, whatever you're looking at. The hot take, Tim Curry's Long John Silver, the best Disney pirate of all time. All right, we're going to move on to hot take number 2.
Can we circle back to the Muppets for a sec?
Yeah.
The Muppets are coming back. It's the Muppet Show with very special guest star Sabrina Carpenter. That is awesome.
Sounds fantastic.
Those are my 2 personality traits, comboing. I'm so excited for that.
It sounds like fun.
Anyway, now we can move on to the next take.
Sounds like fun.
We're 15 minutes in, we've done one take.
So then, the next take that I had is one that we covered in that other episode, and I probably shouldn't have listed it on my list, and that was the Pirates of the Caribbean at Walt Disney World is better than Disneyland. And we talked about that in our episode where we did the recap. So if you're interested in our expanded version of that hot take, I would suggest listener or viewer go back to that episode where we talked about the classic attractions. It was the classic attractions episode of the Disneyland
Mhm.
conversation where we went into why we thought at this point Disney World's Pirates ride was better than Disneyland. And I know we got a lot of not anger, but a lot of rebuffing. There was some rebuffing from some
Yeah,
people
people
on
were
that.
really upset and, like, offended, I guess, by that take. But I
I
do
don't think they were
agree. I do
offended.
think Pirates is better in Orlando than it is in Disneyland.
I
I
wouldn't
do.
say they were offended, but I think they felt like we didn't know what we were talking about. And that may be true. We may not have any idea what we're talking about, but regardless, go back and listen to that episode where we expanded on this. And I want to make one point before we move on to the next one because we don't need to talk about this anymore. Here's the point. We love both of them. We love both of them, listeners. They're both fantastic. They're both A+ rides. We just give a slight edge to Disney World because of the storytelling and this and then go back and listen to the other episode. All right. Here's a hot take that I've never told you about. This will be a brand new hot take and a topic that has never been part of the 285 plus
6.
episodes, whatever, of this podcast. You ready for this one? Hot take.
Yeah.
Take it, lava. You know, Disney has that ESPN sports, Wide World of Sports area. They have an arena there. They have the different athletic fields at Walt Disney World. They have that big arena and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
ESPN, who is owned by Disney, recently purchased all of the special event rights to broadcast WWE wrestling for over $1 billion for the next 5 years. Here's my hot take. Disney is going to bring the WWE to the Wide World of Sports complex, and they will be broadcasting premium events out of the arena in Orlando. They're going to use the popularity of the WWE at Disney World. The wrestlers are coming. That is a hot take. The take is lava. Mimi, the floor is yours.
I don't think so. I don't think that they have time or space for that. I just simply, like, as simply as that. Like, I think I'm not necessarily worried about the branding behind bringing MFA to Disney World. I just think that
And then MMA,
I think
WWE,
oh,
professional
I'm sorry,
wrestling.
WWE. I don't
Yeah.
think that there is enough space to accommodate that many people. Like the like think about the cheerleading and the dance competitions, right? Like the whole resort is overflowing with cheerleaders and dancers and like all these people. And I think like WWE like is going to create a similar situation year round. I also just like I don't think they would move like the regular season. You know what I'm saying? Like special events and stuff here and there. I think will potentially be hosted at the ESPN complex, but I don't think that they're going to do like regular competition there. If that makes
No,
sense.
that's what I'm talking about. It'll be special events being done in the arena. It's a big arena. They did NBA games there during the
During
pandemic.
COVID. Yeah, no, I knew that. I'm also like not sure like what their booking schedule looks like because of all the cheer and dance stuff. Like, because aren't those 2 seasons like at the same time?
I'm sure they're not worried about cheer and dance. They'll figure it out. But listen, there's a possibility, even though he's semi-retired, you bring The Rock, who's also a Disney actor from the Jungle Cruise movies and the Moana, and you're bringing him in for the WWE, and he's there promoting his live action Moana at Walt Disney World. Listen, they used to broadcast professional wrestling from that area in front of Hollywood Studios. Remember where the giant Baymax inflatable was, that huge area? They used to have live television tapings of wrestling right there back in the early 90s, right? Just a hot take. Now
I think
that
my
they
hot
have
take is
these
that I
rights,
really don't care. I don't care if they
What you
bring
gonna do?
wrestling to Disney World. I don't know anything about wrestling. I don't think I could name a single wrestler.
That's okay.
Like,
I don't know many
don't
of
know.
them nowadays either, but that's a hot take and our listeners, let us know. What do you think? Hot take. Will they have WWE wrestling at the ESPN Wide World of Sports zone now that Disney has their hand in that? All right, next hot take. Here's something I've never experienced, and neither of you, but I've seen the videos. Here's the hot take. Space Mountain is more thrilling with the lights on than with the lights off. I've seen the videos. I think you've probably seen the videos. Mimi, what do you think about that hot take? Space
Yeah.
Mountain, more thrilling with
I've seen
the
the videos.
lights on.
I've never experienced it, so I guess I can't necessarily speak to it all the way, but I can buy into this. I think like for me, I get really stressed out on any section of roller coaster that doesn't have something next to it, right? Like the lift hill on Animal Kingdom or on Everest is really stressful because it's just track and then staircase, and there's no padding per se on any side. And I all of Space Mountain is like that, right? I just choose to forget it, out of sight, out of mind when I get on the attraction. So I can buy into it being more thrilling because of the factor of like you're just on this track whipping around and that kind of stuff. Also seeing like how high up you are always adds a level of thrill. I think it's two different kinds of thrill between being in the dark and knowing where you are. So yeah, I could buy into that.
I don't like knowing how high I am. That's why I like Thunder Mountain. I have no idea how high I am because of the scenery, because of whatever. Seven Dwarves. I don't know how high I am. Slinky Dog, I know how high I am, and that added to my thrill. Space Mountain, you look at that building, it goes up. And you go almost to the top of that building in that ride. You also get to see exactly how little head clearance there is as you're going under the tracks that you've just gone through, right? So it's like, and it's
Hmm.
also, I think it might be more thrilling with the lights on.
Yeah.
It's just a hot take. We'll have to see. All right. Here's the next one.
Yeah.
We're going to shift our focus to animated movies. So we're going out of the park, going into the theater. Next hot take. The best 3 consecutive animated films, I mean, they release one after the other. The best 3 are not Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Lion King, because that's how they were released in order, right? That is not the best 3. It's any 3 from Cinderella in 1950 through Winnie the Pooh in 1977. Any of the 3 during that period
Between Cinderella
and Winnie
and
the Pooh.
I'm looking at it right now. When did Winnie the Pooh come out?
If you 77. So if you go
So
to
you're
Disney
telling me that
animated,
from 1950 to 1977 they didn't have a single miss?
I'm saying that
No.
you pick any 3 movies between 1950 and
Okay,
1977
I'll pick 3.
that were feature
I'll pick 3.
films from the Disney Animation Studios.
Yeah, I'll pick 3.
That's what I'm saying.
The Littlest Outlaw, The Great Locomotive Chase, and Davy Crockett and the River
No.
Pirates.
Feature films. I'm trying to find them right now. I got to figure it out what they do. Feature films. All right, here we go. Pull them up on the screen. Here we go. Here's 1950 to 1971. I'm actually doing it on my phone, so it's taking me a little bit of time to load. So I'm on the official DisneyAnimation.com feature films from 1950. So here they are in order.
I'm on
from
Wikipedia.
1950. Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Sword in the Stone, Jungle Book, Aristocats, Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh. What I'm saying is you pick any 3 of those in order, and I'm saying they're better than Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. That's the hot take.
Yeah, I think that's potentially fair. I'm trying to look and see if there's a combo in here that I could, combat that with, but I think that's fair. That's a really good stretch of films for
I
sure.
mean, that's one after the other, hit after hit.
Yeah. That's a really good stretch of films. Yeah, you could argue if you want to throw in one Pixar. They released Princess and the Frog, Toy Story 3, and then Tangled, but Toy Story 3 is Pixar. But those are 3 back-to-back winners as well. I think that's fair. I think all of those movies are solid hits, solid recognizable hits. So yeah, I can get behind that for sure. But Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and Lion King are also like a very competitive trilogy.
No, I think those 3 from the Renaissance era are fantastic. I've grown kind of away from Lion King, you
I
know?
think I have too. I think they've really like exhausted Lion King. Like they've made so much Lion King content, so many sequels, so many Disney Plus series, so many like all of that. Like, and I think when you infringe too much on a story, it goes too far. And I think that that's how a lot of
Mm.
people feel about Toy Story, right? Like the fifth Toy Story is doing too much with the story. You should just leave it as it is. And I don't necessarily feel that way about Toy Story because, similarly to Inside Out, you can follow a child like different points in their life and tell a story that resonates with an audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and I think that works. Also, like toys is sort of an ever changing,
And they're doing
you
that with
know,
Inside Out.
era. And I think right, and like I think the concept of Toy Story 5 is really interesting. Like them versus like these digital toys that didn't exist in 1995 when the first movie was released. But I feel like with Lion King, it's lost its edge of creativity, and it's been oversaturated um,
Mm.
in that way.
Well, related to that hot take, we have the next hot take, which is very it was a it was a tangential hot take to that one, and it is this. The period of time we just described, 1950 to 1977, is the best period for Disney Animation Studios. That is the hot take. Take any of the other eras, that period of time from
Yeah, I think that's fair.
1950 to 1977 it is their golden era. That was the best.
What do people usually argue is the golden era? Like the 80s with
I
the
think the
Little Mermaid?
Renaissance, yeah, from Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Lion King, and that period stretched. Aladdin was in there, but that period also stretched out. That period sort of included that decade or so included Mulan, Tarzan, Hunchback.
Right.
I'm forgetting. I have them up on the phone. I'm forgetting what some of the other ones were.
Pocahontas, Goofy Movie,
Pocahontas, Hercules.
Hercules,
Right. There's a lot of good films in there, but what I'm saying
Tarzan.
is over almost a 30-year period, I think that 30-year period between, you know, 50 and 77, because if you wanted to add the
Yeah.
the
Well, I think
Rescuers were in
what's so special about
1977 as
that
well.
I think what's special about that period is that it was 30 years versus like a 15-year renaissance, but 30 years of hits is pretty good. I think the best, I guess my hot take in this discourse or like discourse similar to this is that my favorite Disney content is Disney content that was produced um by Pixar. Like I think that some of their best work is Pixar work. Pixar work feels more emotional. And I'm not arguing that Disney Animation Studios films don't feel emotional. Like they definitely do have a sting to them. But like sort of this I have a lot more nostalgia towards Toy Story, Cars, Up. Like these feel like very deep cutting stories versus just like fun stories. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
think a good amount of that also might amount to the fact that Pixar does not make adaptations, and so much of what Disney Animation Studios' early work is adaptations of fairy tales. Like The Sword in the Stone is not a Disney original story. Cinderella is not a Disney original story. They've created a brand around that for sure, but that's not original to them. Peter Pan, not original to them. Tarzan, also not an original story to them.
Mhm.
But Beauty and the Beast also I don't think is an original story to
No,
them.
it is not.
But yeah,
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh, like many of these stories are not original in their own right. But I don't know. I back to the original take. I think you
Mhm.
you have some merit there.
Good. Good. I'm glad I have merit. All right. I have 3 more hot takes because I had one listed, but it was a duplicate. So we have 3 left. We're about 31 minutes into this episode. Do you want to try to get all 3 of them in, or do you want to
Oh
save
yeah,
some
I think
for
we could
next
fit them
time?
in,
You
and
wanna
then
try
I
to get 'em
have
in?
one that I want to share that is not on here.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Let me get to the next one. Then we're going to go back to the parks now. We're going to go back to the parks. Here's a hot take. It don't matter. It don't matter. It does not matter what side of World Shake Show Showcase. It does not matter what side of World Showcase you enter on. I know some people, you got to go through Mexico. Oh, no, you got to go through Canada. It doesn't matter. Just get in there. That's my hot take. It doesn't matter what side you enter.
I think it mattered before Remy, because if you went in through Canada, you essentially didn't have anything to do until you got to Norway. So I think, like, pre Remy, it didn't matter. But I actually kind of like now that they have two big attractions on either side of the World Showcase, so that you can sort of really choose which side you want to go on um, for your family. And I don't think it matters now.
Right. I think it depends if you're an adult, 21 or over, and you're looking to have a few adult beverages. Do you want to start with margaritas and tequila? Or do you want to start with beer and wine? Right? Because when you enter in on the Canada side, it's more beer and wine. You enter in the Mexico side, you got margaritas and tequila. Depends on how you want to start your journey.
That's true. You're getting two different
Either
experiences
way,
in that way.
Either way, it may be. So
I mean,
here's
you're laughing,
so
but I
here's
really
a
feel like
tangential
that's
hot take.
like a really interesting take.
Here's a take to my take. Do you want to be finishing your drinking around the world and getting on Remy with that motion simulator? We saw what that looked like on New Year's Eve a few years back with a certain guest in line. Or is a nice leisurely stroll through the Three Amigos a better way to finish your drinking around the world journey? I would say your body would appreciate a nice leisurely water ride to end that journey than the spinning around three-dimensional motion simulator that is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Depends on your constitution, I suppose.
I don't know. I can't speak to that, so I have no
Good
idea.
for you. And you should not ever have to speak to that. Take care of yourself.
Ever?
Well,
Ever
at least
in
for
my life? My whole life?
at least another year. At least another year. All right. Here's the next hot take.
At least
Moving
another
on.
year. I would
All right,
rather
good.
wait. Kind of on that though. I would rather end my around the world experience outside Test Track than by Moana
It depends.
and the seas.
Depends on how you're
But
feeling.
it depends. Yeah, true.
That's true.
Okay,
That's true.
next
All
on
right.
the list.
Next hot take. Toy Story Land. It's better than Galaxy's Edge. What do you think?
It is 100%. It totally is. I think that it is way better at bringing in every single guest, including guests that don't know the story. I think Galaxy's Edge is really, really, really exclusive and really, truly only enjoyable by people who know Star Wars and understand Star Wars. I 100% agree with that. Do I think Galaxy's Edge is a more immersive experience? Yes, I do. I think the attractions are higher tech. I think the decorations are better. I think the immersiveness of the situation is 100% better. But it is also at the same time, as a result of that, inaccessible. The food is bad. The food is really, really bad in Galaxy's Edge.
There's nothing
Full
for
stop.
small children unless you're planning on dropping
There's
a dime
nothing
on a robot.
Right. Right. There is nothing for small children to do in Galaxy's Edge. Small children, right? Like maybe you can make the argument that they could do Smuggler's Run, but they might not be tall enough, right? Because it's a simulator, right? It has a height thing, right? So unless you want to drop hundreds of dollars on lightsaber or droid experience, there's very little for your small child to do. Secondly, the food's bad. I already said that. Point made. We talked about this a lot during our Disneyland recap. I don't have anything else to say about it. The food is just like not bad. The food is just not
food
good.
is
The
lava.
options are not. The food is so bad. On top of that, all of the signs. No, I'm not done. All of the signs are in Galaxy's Edge language. Like you can't read the name tags. It takes way too much effort for me to read the signs and figure out where I'm going. In defense of Toy Story Land, or I guess in defense of Galaxy's Edge, it does have that immersive experience, but I think Toy Story is just an easier part of the park to be in, and I think it's way better at incorporating guests into the story, including guests that may not be familiar with the franchise. I think there's a better range of attractions. I think the food is better, but it isn't as immersive, and it is absolutely packed.
It certainly is targeting a different audience. All right, the last hot take on my list. They have all the resorts that are considered like Magic Kingdom resorts. They're like either right up on the Seven Seas Lagoon or like right in that area, right? And there's a number of them, right? Let's just list them so that people know what we're talking about. The Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, the Contemporary. I would say the Wilderness Lodge, and maybe even the campgrounds at Fort Wilderness. Those, and of course, you have to add into there the DVC towers that they've built, right? They have the tower at the Poly, they have the tower at the Contemporary, right? Of
I
those
think if you can
resorts,
take a boat I think if you could take a boat from the resort to the Magic Kingdom, you're on a Magic Kingdom resort. Campgrounds,
exactly.
Wilderness Lodge, Poly, Grand
Right.
Floridian, Contemporary.
The second best, here's the hot take, the second best resort in that category is the Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think the
I mean,
Grand
we all know the best
Floridian
resort. The best
is the
resort
Polynesian.
is the Polynesian, of course.
Is the Polynesian, 100%.
Yeah.
I
But
think
the Wilderness Lodge, better than Grand Floridian, better than Contemporary.
I think what I like about the Wilderness Lodge is that it feels kid friendly. The Grand Floridian does not give kid friendly vibes. It gives like Marriott Marquis, super expensive vibe. And that if that's your vibe, that's awesome. Like I love that
It's
for you. It's
beautiful. It's
definitely
beautiful. Yeah.
beautiful. It's definitely, I think, worth the price for sure. But it just the theming alone of the Wilderness Lodge is just so much fun. And I really enjoy an immersive experience, and I think that's something that I come back to a lot with my takes and my opinions. Like really truly value that immersive storytelling, which is why I love the Polynesian. The story is so good, the theming is so good. The Contemporary, I don't feel that way. The Contemporary just feels like a really expensive hotel to me. You said that when you came back from your stay at the Contemporary. The Grand Floridian, I think almost is its own category. When you're talking about the Magic Kingdom resorts, I think you almost have to remove it because it's just a totally separate experience, totally separate situation. Like people get married at the Grand Floridian. You know what I'm saying? People are not getting married at the Polynesian per se. Um, so yeah, I would agree that the Wilderness Lodge is the second best Magic Kingdom resort. Um, it's not on the monorail, which kind of sucks, but the boat is always easier anyway. The theming is great. I think I like that it's a little bit secluded and it does a great job of telling its story.
Yep. I prefer the boat to the monorail most of the time anyway. So unless it's raining,
Yeah,
then I prefer the monorail.
exactly.
All right.
I don't even mind if
39,
it's
almost
raining.
40 minutes in. You have a hot take. You have a hot take. So it is
I
time
do
for
have a
the
hot
Mimi
take.
hot take.
I do. Yeah, so mine has come up before and it will come up again. And I guess my hot take is that I really don't hate the direction Hollywood Studios is moving in and that Hollywood Studios is my favorite park. It's a lot of people's least favorite park. A lot of people really don't
Mm,
understand the storytelling. A lot of people really miss the golden age of Hollywood stuff and the great movie ride. I love it. I love it as is. Is it cohesive? Not necessarily. And am I definitely being not counterintuitive, but oh gosh, hypocritical of myself by saying that it's not super cohesive and immersive after coming off of saying that I love immersive experiences. Yes, but I like the direction it's going and I don't hate it and I think it's just changing and people are mad that it's changing.
question. Is your hot take that Disney Hollywood Studios, especially after this next project where they put the animation courtyard redo project that they've talked about and the Monsters Inc., or is what you're saying that it will be that it is and will be the best of the four parks at Walt Disney World?
I guess so. But I guess it's also kind of more generally like I don't I actually like what they're doing because I feel like the cold take in this direction is like I hate what Hollywood Studios is doing. I miss the old Hollywood Studios. My take is that I actually quite like it and I love the new Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I like it too. I don't think that's such a hot take. I think that's a good take. And I think a lot of people might feel that way, but there's some purists out there, and you know who you are. It might
And I
disagree
love a
with you, but it's a
purist.
really good hot
Okay,
take.
I love a
Yeah.
Walt Disney World purist. But it's also
Everyone
the
can have
big
their
25,
opinion.
not the big
Listen,
01.
everyone
Some
can have
things
their
just
opinion and
change.
everyone can think they're right, and that's fine. My job is not to convince you that you're wrong. Go to Disney World and find out for yourself. Come back and tell us what you thought.
Yep.
All right, those are the hot takes. The takes were lava. We hope you enjoyed that. Mimi, we have a trivia question to get to here at the end of this episode. And as well, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening or watching this are saying to themselves right now, how can I possibly tell these people how correct they are and how wonderful this is? So, Mimi, give them the trivia question and then tell them how they can give us all that great information.
Yes, of course. So, this week's question is, what is the name of Gonzo's chicken on The Muppet Show? So, you know the answer to that question. Have any thoughts, comments, opinions, concerns, questions about our hot take? Please feel free to send us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or you can send us a message. Oh, send us a message. It's a lot of S's on pretty much every social media platform, all at Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, the link to our T Public, our Patreon, our Rise to Dole Whip, all that other stuff is on the website, disneyassembled.com. Make sure to go check it out. I cannot hear you. Can you
I
hear
am
me?
muted. Am I muted?
Yes, you are.
I was
Yeah,
muted.
now you're back. Yeah.
All right, we'd appreciate that.
I was
Membership is
like-
only $2 a month, and you want to help us out. We'd really appreciate that. We have a YouTube channel, as I was saying, that you couldn't hear me because I was muted. We have a new YouTube channel, Disney Assembled over there. Check us out. Lots of people are watching our shorts. But of course, if the best thing you can do if you want to help us create more joy in the world, leaving us that rating and review would be helpful. But of course, telling your friends about the show, sharing it with your colleagues and with your peers online, that is great because the more people who listen to the show, we hope it makes the world that much more joyful. All right, Mimi, quick high five.
Yes.
There it is. I don't know if you did it or not because the video sort of paused there for a second. The Wi-Fi is not lava. I will tell you that. The Wi-Fi is an iceberg, but good show. All right, ladies, gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, we hope this episode brought a smile to your face, some extra magic to your day, and that very important sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. Thank you so much again for listening, and until next time,
See you real soon.